Hello, and this is Guy Clapperton welcoming you back to what I'm arbitrarily calling the fourth season of The Near Futurist. Many of you won't have noticed there were seasons, of course, before, and indeed, why should you? But the truth is, I started with the idea of doing one every other week in 2018 and forgot to build in any breaks. Bad mistake. So anyway, here we are, series or season 4, and it's 2025 already. The world's become a slightly confusing place, and artificial intelligence is apparently everywhere except when I'm writing these intros by hand. And today's guest has some insights into a particular niche of that. But first, a quick plug for my media training service at Clapperton Media Training. Do you or your clients want to sound as confident, clear, and fluent in media interviews as the people in this podcast? Of course you do. My team and I can help. Drop my assistant Lindsay, that's lindsay@clapperton.co.uk, a note, and she'll set us a time for an initial chat. Or go to the website at clapperton.co.uk, 2 Ps, to find out more. Now, back to the podcast. And that's enough of that. You don't want to hear from me, you want to hear from my guest. We'll keep hearing that the economy is picking up worldwide, and then it isn't, then it's stabilizing, then it isn't because there's this new president in America, or whatever is happening in the distance to confuse everybody. Maybe if we're looking for jobs, artificial intelligence could help. And this is where my guest for today has a lot to say. With over 15 years of experience in recruiting and HR technology, she brings a deep understanding and passion for the space, supported by roles in product development, pre-sales and customer service. Her contagious energy and strong leadership give her a unique perspective on her role and of the job market overall. And yes, I've been cribbing from LinkedIn again. Her name is Rebecca Carr, and she's Chief Executive of Smart Recruiters. Rebecca, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome. Rebecca, recruitment is even older than I am, and that's saying something. Where does AI even start to fit, and why do we suddenly need it?
Yeah, it is. It's older than all of us. But I think AI is really offering at least my customers 3 different outcomes. And I think this is applicable to anybody that's using hiring software or even hiring people by hand. And that is that I think AI can offer the opportunity for discovery. One of the amazing things that AI does is it digs through very complicated data sets, and it understands what and where you can find people and information that are a match for the question that you're asking. And if you could imagine a high volume, high turnover organization, maybe like a retailer or a hospitality group, they're receiving thousands and thousands of applications, maybe even to a single hirer. And so that hirer needs to be able to discover who is a good match for the job based on their experience, their tenure, their location, a number of different facets that are driving an output that helps them prioritize a shortlist so that they know where to start. So you see a lot of organizations adopting AI to sift through all of that data. The second outcome, I would say, is really that of efficiency and productivity. There, I would argue that probably 80% of the hiring workflow is administrative today. That's recruiters moving people through workflows and scheduling interviews and writing offer letters and writing job descriptions. And especially with the introduction of Gen AI, there's a lot of opportunity to leverage these agents to do things like craft or describe a job based on what you've done in the past or what you're looking for, a set of skills, or write interview scorecards, schedule candidates on interviews on your behalf so you don't have to have coordinators. This is reducing the amount of time it takes to move people through a funnel so that you can convert those candidates a bit faster. And then the third, which is probably my favorite, which is just pure insight. It's amazing what you can understand from just studying data. And though there's amazing predictive analytics products and dashboarding products on the market, AI can do things like allow you to set thresholds and tell you proactively when you should be doing something differently based on behaviors and actions that have occurred in the application previously. This is basically like a superhuman managing how you operate within a piece of technology, helping you to get better and faster in your use of the power that's being delivered by these vendors on a monthly, weekly basis in some scenarios. So I think those are probably the three largest outcomes that AI will bring. If I were to venture a guess, I'd say most organizations are really starting with small efficiency bots, or they're starting with maybe some discovery, some matching technology, as I mentioned on the front end.
This really makes a lot of sense, but if we could take a step backwards, I keep hearing about people trying to game the system using something like ChatGPT, you've mentioned generative AI, to put job applications together. Is that happening? And does that actually give the risk of giving a false impression of what you're going to be like when you actually turn up at the workplace?
We estimate that 58% of all candidates are using AI in some capacity during the application workflow. Sometimes that's just writing their CV, augmenting it, enriching it with skills so that they show up as a better match to a position. They assume they're being scored on the other side. And so they want to present themselves as the perfect match for that particular position or job. But I'd say probably the other big use case for AI on the front end is people applying to jobs, thousands of jobs in some cases, within hours by leveraging these agents to take a CV, search the internet for all applicable jobs within a specific region or country or remote roles, and apply on behalf of that candidate. So what once was a 10-minute application suddenly turns into hundreds in 1 minute. And that creates an exceptional volume for these businesses, which is further amplifying their need for some of these other AI technologies to drive efficiency and discovery on the other side.
Okay, I must admit, if I were an employer and someone had only taken 10 minutes over their application, I'm not sure I'd be that interested in employing them on the basis of that commitment. But let's look at it from the recruiter's point of view. The question I've written and circulated to you in advance was, how can I be sure I'm not getting an AI-generated application? Let's take a step further back and say, should I be worried about AI-generated applications? Are they a problem? And is there a danger of them becoming uniform? What should I look out for, thinking this person has not written their own application? And indeed, is it a problem?
The truth of the matter is, you won't know. I wish I could say, even as a technologist, and I'm a product leader, that I can detect if AI has been leveraged. But if they've leveraged a piece of technology outside of my tool or on their own desktop or otherwise, and they have just a straight document or PDF and they're leveraging that document to apply to a position, it'd be very difficult for me to understand if AI were being used. Now, there are certain words, if you go on Google and search for words that ChatGPT tends to lean into, sometimes the overuse of words that feel a little contrived is something that can be an indicator, but it's hard to say. So really what you need to be thinking about as a hirer on the other side is, how do I validate skills? How do I validate that this CV is accurate? And what does that mean? Either via the use of deeper screening in the application workflow. You can ask questions that are more difficult for agents to answer. You can require assessments, video assessments, or written assessments prior to. Those can inevitably, I can't promise you they can't be gamed, but it's a way to weed out those that are maybe taking the easy path forward. And then most probably most important is, we need to realize that AI is not replacing the offline requirement of needing to have a conversation with someone. In fact, I think that AI offers an amazing opportunity for businesses to take recruiting back to what it was, which was about conversation and a connection and understanding if this individual is a fit. You can have fantastic skills for a position, but at least 50% of a job working out, or a candidate working out within a job, is going to be hiring manager fit. And does the job that you're going to be doing match the description that's been given to you? This takes a conversation, and you could have all the context in the world around why you hire someone. It is unlikely that AI will be able to understand that. There was actually recently an interview with the CEO of Microsoft, AI who said this. He said AI is going to do amazing things in terms of generating productivity within an org and moving things faster, but it will never, at least not in the next several years, be able to capture the context on what does an organization feel like? What does it mean to be a good fit for an organization? And recruiters will still need to spend time and dedicate effort to making sure that the people that they do choose to move forward in the process match those requirements.
And of course, our generation will continue to talk about people being a good fit on paper, even when there's no paper involved, I suspect.
It's true, yes, yeah.
Well, so far my question has been fairly negative, as you can hear. Are we going to be swamped with AI job applications? How can we tell them apart? Is there a danger from them? And so forth. In a second and concluding part of this interview, Rebecca will talk about the sort of issues people come to her with and what you need to know about AI if you're on the job seeker side rather than an employer. That's the Near Futurist on whichever podcast platform you choose. I'm Guy Clapperton. See you next week, and don't forget to check the website at nearfuturist.net. Thanks.